Hi, Jared Bellman with AllChoice Insurance, back again. Today, we're gonna talk about decision making. So we introduced that we have a sales process that we are taking from one level and we're trying to take it to the next level. So today we're gonna talk about the decision making process that goes into moving that from where it is now to where we want it to be. The initial thing I want to talk about is really kind of who's involved in it and how we're structured, so you understand when we talk about decisions who's involved in that. So the top level, I guess, would be our CEO and founder. So we have a individual who oversees the 4 locations that we really have. That sounds bigger than it is. It's really just 4 places in North Carolina where we have people working. Then we have managing partners. These managing partners oversee each location. Then we have a director of operations. So he is our central hub of kind of client-facing stuff. So anything that goes out to a client or comes from a client really goes through him. And then he has a bunch of teams underneath him, CSRs, which are customer service representatives, any kind of receptionist, anybody answering a phone. We also have some VAs that we use, but those are all kind of under him, and each one of those plays a different role in this sales process. So we want to talk about the decision-making that goes into that, and sometimes you have to just make the decision. So to break down the decision-making process, we should really talk about who's making the decisions first. So in our company, we have many different layers. We have 4 different locations. Sounds big, but we're a small company. We have a CEO at the head. We have managing partners over each location. So they handle everything in their location. We have an operations manager who really everything kind of flows through with the sales process, definitely, because he takes everything from the customer service and customer experience up to us, and we flow a lot of the sales process and sales stuff back down through him. So he is really a funnel for a lot of that. And then on the other side of that, we have our, what we call CSRs, customer service reps. And then we also have, obviously, a receptionist and, answering the phones, taking phone calls from clients. We also use VAs. Now, we wanted to get a consensus of all of these people. The consensus was the #1 way that we really wanted to take that sales process from one place to the other. So we talked to every person on this list. We really, most of the time, will have all these people on the call when we talk in general and top-level, macro-level stuff about the sales process. So if we're talking about who is our ideal client, who's our target market that we're gonna start the sales process with, we wanna know everybody's opinion on that, because the CEO is gonna take it from a sense of who's the most productive, right? And from productive, we need monetarily productive client to work with. We want to talk to a VA and a rep who's answering a phone and hear who they want to work with, which is, from experience and going through this process, I can say that they want to talk to someone who is pleasant on the phone, who is willing to accept emails and text, has multiple ways of communicating with them so that they can handle and juggle with all the tasks that they have to do with that client. Our CSRs and our operational manager, those are the people that really talked a lot about response, right? They need response from the sales force, but they also need response from the prospects and clients. So that's how we kind of melded what that ideal and target market was before we even started the sales process, because that was the foundational thing we needed. And so the consensus of getting everybody together and making those decisions was definitely necessary. And then we kind of take it to a next level where there's kind of consensus above some of the top levels, so the managing partners and CEO. And that really came down to niche marketing, specifically what we feel that the area of expertise we have and the best strength of market we have in our area. So where one of the managing partners in Greensboro and Winston-Salem think trucking is really their opportunity. Here in Hendersonville, we believe that restaurants and hospitality is one of ours. So we needed to kind of go through that and go by location and see that. Now, another one of the 4 methods of decision making is command. There are times where things need to be made immediately. With this sales process, it wasn't really too big of a thing. I can tell you that in the beginning, the initial introduction to the prospect was more of a command. So for me, I wanted it to be very tech savvy. I wanted it to be, I can not have to exchange business cards, or I could take someone else's business card and not have to hand it off, enter them into our system, have them be communicated automatedly through email and text and virtual phone calls, where we have other managing partners who said, that's not how I want to do it. I want to call them directly on my cell phone. And so that command level, where it was a one-person decision, is usually time sensitive, but in this case, it was more how that person wants to do business, and it didn't matter in the next step to any of the other people. It didn't affect them, and so we allowed that to be a command decision. I said time sensitive. In our business, a lot of those time sensitive are, events that are coming up that we need to make a decision, marketing opportunities that need to be made quickly, and we don't really go in and get a whole consensus of everybody in our team when we make those decisions. The person that is most impacted, and really the person spending the money, is the one that'll just make that decision. In our company, we really don't vote a lot. We don't have a board of directors to speak to, so we usually can get a pretty good consensus. But the consultation is really what I was talking about when we all get together and talk. Consensus really was how we got that ideal market, target market. Was we weren't going to move past that. We weren't going to decide what our ideal client was until everybody agreed on it. It couldn't be our CEO coming and saying, hey, I want to know your opinion and I'm going to make the decision, because it's who everybody has to deal with. That ideal client, at some point, everybody's going to deal with them. And so we wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page. Took a little longer. It is a little more difficult, can be what some people would initially feel is a time waste, but that macro level understanding of who that person you're going to work with and how they're going to work with every step, we wanted to make sure there was 100% buy-in from everybody on our team. Then some of the steps along the way. So what steps we were going to use, right? So from foundationally, what step 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to the final step we're going to be, we took consultation. So the VAs, the receptionists, the CSRs, and really even the operational manager aren't really in every process. So the managing partners and our agents and producers were who we went to. We got consultation from them. We wanted to hear from our CSRs, everybody answering the phone, our VAs. We wanted to hear what they had to say, but they didn't really make the final decision. And that's how we consulted them. But then somebody had to come in and say, this is how we're going to do it. So that is all we're going to talk about, the decision-making process today. Thank you so much.